Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I rise to respond to the answer about the 5 station horses that were killed up at Thurloo Downs in the northwest of the state. And first of all, extend my sympathies to the family that lost their horses in such a tragic way. I've lost a couple of horses myself, and I know how upsetting this can be, but you add to that the work and time that's gone into breeding and training and rearing these horses. It must be incredibly upsetting for them to lose these horses in this way. But what does that say about the management of national parks and the incompetency of those charged with doing this very important job? This matter needs to be fully investigated, and I did note there was an indication that it would happen internally, but perhaps we need a fully independent investigation of this to find out how this happened and why it won't happen again. The story we heard about these horses joining another mob doesn't actually correlate with what I'm hearing on the ground. In fact, my report suggests that there's not other brumbies within 40, 50 kilometres of where these horses were shot. That's a couple of properties away. So surely an aerial shooter is going to raise some red flags when they see horses running in an area where they're not meant to be. And I would also suspect you could quickly tell the difference between a well-bred, well-maintained camp draft horse and wild brumbies. It feeds into that wider argument that national parks are not fit to manage the millions of hectares that they've got, let alone the additional hectares they're now buying up. It just doesn't... They're not doing their job properly with the country they've got, yet they're out there seeking more. Why would you want to be a neighbour of a national park at the moment? They don't control their pigs, they don't control their weeds. Boxthorn, blackberries are all spreading from national parks into neighbouring properties. And on top of that now, you might have your horses shot. I'm a big fan of our national parks. I love visiting them with our family. I support the intent of what they're trying to do. But incidents like this do nothing to enhance their reputation as already poor managers. It's also critical that this isn't a chip against aerial hunting, that aerial shooting. This is a key tool that we have in our biosecurity controls, but it needs to be done properly by people that can tell the difference between a horse and a pig. So I call on the government for a full investigation of this and also full compensation for the owners, not just for the value, the financial value of these horses, which could be north of $10,000 for these people, but also the emotional stress that this would have caused them. We need to make sure this doesn't happen again, and we need to extend our deepest sympathies to those people that have lost these beloved horses.